Let's go, 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 let's go.
You know the frequency, yeah, you know the frequency. Come on, you know the frequency, yeah, you know the frequency.
I've been upgrading my frequency. I've been protecting my energy. I've been upgrading my frequency. No matter what, I protect my energy.
We off the grid.
Yeah. We are back. Another episode of the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. I'm your host, B. Carter.
Double D, Director Mers.
And we got a special guest host, Manny DeBritto, in the house. What up, brother? What is going on, guys? Another week has gone by.
Very quick.
Charlie Perry is out today. We got our boy Emma Ray in the building. Behind the scenes, back again from straight out of Jamaica, smoking all that weed. You know that speaking all that weed. That's that good, huh? Yo, how was Jamaica, man? Yeah? Nothing. Yo, put on your mic. Put your mic on. You got a mic there. I gave you a mic. There you go.
Nothing but beautiful vibes, my brother.
Yeah?
We missed you, though.
No problem, man.
Yeah, man. No problem.
You get some jerk chicken?
One love. I got jerk chicken. I got it all.
You got it all?
Yeah, man.
Now you're Jamaican.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, I tell you, I went to Jamaica a few times. And I'm telling you, they had these black women. You know, they got those black women who's their skin is just so crispy, shiny and stuff. That cocoa butter type joints. You know nothing about that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I know nothing about love.
But I'm listening. Educate.
Yo, I just saw a beautiful, I just remember this. Last time I was there, it was a beautiful, she was just beautiful. It's just damn, y'all so beautiful. And it's her skin was so smooth. And I was damn, that's a lot of cocoa butter. But she was so gorgeous.
You know what? There was a question. Another lady had asked a question to one of the girls.
Yeah.
And asked about the complexion of the skin.
Yeah.
The skin's so shiny.
Yeah.
What they had said was they don't use anything that they have up in Jamaica. Whether it's food or deodorant, whatever.
Yeah.
They use nothing but natural ingredients from the earth. No chemicals, no additives.
Oh.
So that is the reason why. And plus the way they eat their food is all fresh.
So it's that old joke. He's you must have some that's berries and
berries.
It's probably true, yo. I just remember that she was gorgeous. She was just, and she had that that sprinter track body. Or the sprinter.
Berta was quick, man, back in the day. You wanted to race her?
Yo, there's a lot of things I want to do with her. Yo, she had those thighs, to just damn, yo. And they could dance all night, through the night. They got you don't get tired? Okay. Maybe I'm diverting too much. What's going on, guys?
What's happened? I was very excited when you said Manny was coming on the show.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Manny's always a good guest coming on, but now he's a host. He's a special guest host.
Yeah. Taking Big Charlie's spot.
Yeah,
man,
Big Charlie.
That's my guy. That's a tough chair to
fill. Nice. You good. You can. And he gave compliments. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna have a good show because Manny's on there." Of course we are. So, how was y'all week?
I had a great week. Busy, busy as usual, but everything's great.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So Edmund went to Jamaica. He's back.
Waiting on the next trip.
What's the next trip? Dominican?
Yeah, you got to plan it before you leave the first one. You got to plan your next trip before you leave the trip you're on.
Right left Jamaica.
I know, but you have to plan the next one.
He already did. He already
booked. That's what I'm saying.
No, not booked yet.
That's the plan.
Plan it. Yep.
Everybody's willing to go.
Yeah.
Watch out, because I heard in the news they be taking those girls. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing about that. It's just fucked up. Going hell. All right, we got to get into it. Let's get right into it. intro is kind of longer than usual, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's
Okay.
all right. That's
All right.
double D. Double they looped it.
Double D.
Yeah.
All right. So I have two stories I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Tesla vehicles being vandalized. But
Yeah.
first, I want to talk about the New Bedford train service to Boston.
The Beverage train. Yeah.
So I think it's awesome. It's been 65 years since we had service, right, Manny, from New Bedford or any one of these big cities. Taught in New Bedford, going to Boston. 65 years.
Yeah, and I think they started talking about bringing it back like in the 80s. Late 80s, I think they started talking about bringing it back. I don't remember who was in office at the time, but I remember seeing the old articles. And I worked in Boston for years, man. That trip is crazy. It's hectic. So we'll see how it goes, man. It's a good thing for the city. It is.
You think so?
I think so.
So that was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you specifically is, do you think it's like, I guess I hear two different things or I read two different things. Like, do you think like people from Boston are going to come live this way because, say, if they can't afford Boston, they're going to kind of come this way, then they can commute into Boston? Or do you think it's beneficial more for us?
I think it brings the communities together, obviously, you know what I mean, by the train. That's always a good thing. Connects us all the way through. College students going up to Bridgewater. I went to Bridgewater, places like that. I think actually opens up more for like investors and business folks, because they're probably looking at it like, if it's a lot cheaper to own property, start a business, all of these things, there might be some avenues where they might be blocked in Boston. It's more difficult.
So that was my question, though. Do you think that'll hurt the city so much? Because if you have like investors coming from Boston, maybe with deeper pockets than like the average person around here, where they can buy, like, say, multi-families for cheaper, do you think that kind of hurts us a little bit?
I mean, New Bedford's just a special place. Like, so community is a big thing for me. So, I mean, in my eyes, obviously you want to give opportunities for local people, incentives for them to buy, houses and 3 tenements and open businesses and stuff like that, to keep it cultural and keep it New Bedford. But in a way, you can't stop progress either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, like I said, I working in Boston, seeing how all these areas built up around the train. It's kind of like a sight to behold that, to kind of blossom like that. I kind of want to see New Bedford, live up to its potential, because we do have a lot of potential. So
I completely agree with you. I'm not a hater on the train. I love the train. I think it's a great thing. But, then sometimes I think about, damn, like, will this somehow hurt us? Just.
It's gonna hurt the culture. In a way, like, the Cape Verdean stronghold that we have here, Portuguese, whatever, you're gonna be bringing in different types of people, which I love, actually.
Yeah.
But if you're just one of those people that, it's a strong believer in how important those cultures are, you might start seeing that get watered down a little bit, So there's kind of a give and take. But like I said, I'd love to see incentives for people from New Bedford, because obviously you care more about your city.
Yep.
If you're from here, you're going to care about the properties you own, care about the people and the schools, and be more willing to give back. So, I think we can't lose sight on that part of it either.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. They invested. I read something, it was like a $9.6 billion 5-year investment plan that they had. Like, I don't think it's just like New Bedford, but like Fall River,
along the rail.
Yeah, these different, areas that they added.
Yeah. And again, like South Coast, I think we got to start looking at things differently. It's not just New Bedford, Fall River, and Taunton together. Now, how much power does that wield? You know what I mean? Within the state. I think part of it is moving towards, it is like, the whole South Coast, not just New Bedford, and having kind of that mindset,
right, probably
would help us too in the area.
Yes, I think I honestly, I'm glad you said that, because I do feel like the South Coast is pretty awesome, just to be like New Bedford, but it's all of us, like we have a lot of like like beach property, you know what I mean? Kind of collectively, it's a great spot to be.
We're in a like a prime. I think we're in prime real estate in Massachusetts in general, and the South Coast in general, because we're so close to the Cape. We're so close to Providence. We're so close to Newport. And New Bedford itself is a lot of waterfront property. Like I honestly believe probably in the 5 to 10 years, the waterfront property is going to be the new seaport. It's going to be like a mini seaport that you see in Boston. That's what I believe. And I think the train is putting the spotlight on New Bedford and Fall River.
Yeah.
to like just to highlight those two cities, because there are a lot of waterfront property that a lot of people up north in the Boston area probably really didn't understand. And now they do, because this train is causing them to look at what's the big deal.
Yeah.
And they're probably coming down here is like, wow, and I think that the media gave New Bedford a bad rap over the years. And I've seen that personally when I used to live in Rhode Island, and I'll watch the news in Rhode Island and they'll just say all bad stuff about New Bedford.
Even to this day, they're still saying
Yeah.
stuff about
But it's funny, news here will say all bad stuff about Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And it shows you how media can control the narrative and the image of different places and environments. But I think that also, like you said, it's gonna, with the good is gonna come some bad. And I don't know. I'm in a state of mind of where everything is going on politically and stuff like that, that I'm not too fond of capitalist culture, because yes, it builds the community, it brings in the money and everything like that, but at the same time, like you said, it may dilute the community, it may tarnish the community, was to make the community what it is. It might eliminate type of morals that was built in this community, because now so much money is coming here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a gift and a curse. The city deserves it. It needs it. It needs the money within the city to build the city up to its fullest potential. But there's some sacrifice that we as a people are going to have to make.
I think one of the focuses needs to be on how the people from New Bedford can advance and grow with the changes, right? So like, the wind stuff, for a while we heard about wind.
Yeah.
So how do you get management positions, supervisory positions, and not just be
Yeah.
a worker bee?
Yeah.
How do you advance? Because that's really bringing the community forward.
Yeah.
Getting minimum wage jobs is fine, but like, how do you advance? How do we get our workforce ready? So like our students, do we have them ready to take on these new opportunities? Right? Like, that's like in Boston, you have all those college students.
Yes.
Now you have people that's prepared to take these jobs.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of the thing too. Jobs is fine, opportunities is fine, but how are we setting up our people to be able to take advantage of those things?
Yeah.
Derek works in real estate, so are we talking to people, first time home buyers, people from the city, like what programs are there, just stuff like that, where we're educating our folks, like, hey, the train's coming, like we have to be ready, and we have to prepare our people for that as well. That has to come with it too. So
I think also it's like the path, we talk about, like, from New Bedford to Boston, which is great, right? That's kind of the idea, I feel. But you made a good point. You mentioned, like, it's not just, it's from here to Braintree or from here to Stoughton. You know what I mean? So it's like, people might not always just connect with Boston, but it's along the way that we have these opportunities.
So like, what are the stops? Like, do you know anything like how, as far as like,
I don't
in
know the
general?
exact, like,
Well, they go from here to Stop Station.
Yeah. So,
well, all the way up. Yeah. But I'm saying the stops in between. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if it goes, if it's straight to Middleborough, or is it Taunton? And
so
it's
So South Station's like, is that I'm not too familiar with the train.
that's
how it
right
works.
downtown.
Is it like TD Garden area or something like that?
No, that's up a little bit. I mean, but you jump on the red line and it's right there.
right there.
It's all interconnected. It's so close. And Boston's a very walkable city.
Yeah.
So like, you get to South Station, you can go anywhere.
these are all the stops right here.
So you got Middleborough, yep,
Bridgewater,
Taunton,
Brockton, Randolph, Quincy, Braintree, JFK, UMass, South Station.
So it's gonna benefit all those cities.
Yeah, all those-
With it.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
and
not only New Bedford.
again, the students, like, if I could jump on a train back in the day to go to Bridgewater,
Yeah.
like that's a pretty
Yeah,
great thing, you know
Right.
what I mean? Or vice versa, coming down here to UMass Diamonds if you're living in one of those communities, instead of having to drive there.
Yeah. Even driving, if you work out in Boston, it makes it more easier. So I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But what scares me about is because now it's bringing on like I don't know if you want to talk about, like, just mentioning that podcast we were talking about last week about like people are like I'm not, I got to educate myself on it, is basically trying to like dilute this area as far as people was corrupt or anything like that. I don't know if that's what it was about.
I mean, I think everything's like sensationalized nowadays.
Yeah.
And again, like, you know, you're talking about people's lives here and
Yeah.
livelihoods. I've been dragged through the mud, so I
Yeah.
know how that feels. You know,
Mhm.
who knows what's true, what's not. I know in my case, the majority of things that are said aren't true.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and again, people will attack you. But, you know, looking at it from being someone that loves New Bedford, like
Mhm.
it's just a black eye on the city.
Yeah.
And like you said, they just talk about New Bedford like it's just drug infested and
Yeah.
violence and drug dealers and corrupt this and corrupt that. And it's like, that's not New Bedford. That's
Yeah.
not the New Bedford I know.
And that's not the Bedford I know
You
either.
know, it's
Yeah.
not to say we don't have those things, but what community doesn't have
Yeah,
those things?
exactly.
We're not any worse than anywhere else. We're not, you know, one thing we do have is community, is family,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a lot of respects, a lot of culture.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think you made that point when we were hanging out, you know, last week about, you know, people trying to throw dirt on New Bedford so maybe they can devalue the
Yeah.
city, so they can get, you know,
Yeah, and that's my point. And when people see money, and that's where I'm sometimes I'm so like turned off by a capitalistic society, because people would put dirt on if it's people's names or the area or anything like that for them to invest into it. It's almost like I'm gonna ruin the stock so I could buy low, you know what I'm saying, and sell high. You know what I'm saying?
And that
And
happens.
now you're seeing that coming. You're seeing these little things coming where it's like, yeah, they see the money. Either you're gonna affect my money up in Boston, so I'm gonna affect that so I can buy that at, you know, it's a game that's being played now. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, also like negative comments always travel faster than like good ones, right?
Yeah.
With whatever you're talking about, right? Negativity goes 100 miles an hour. So when you're talking about, like, you know, the city of New Bedford, you're always going to point to, like, you know, whether it's drugs or, you know, I remember like in the 80s, right? I can all the shit that used to go on, but they don't tell you the hundreds of great things that are going on. I think the city's doing great. Listen, I think the build up, what they're trying to do,
there's been a lot of like movements forward. Like downtown is building up. I do a lot of programs with kids. The kids are amazing. Like the amount of talented people that come out of New Bedford,
oh yeah,
No
is
question.
ridiculous. I mean, music, art, just, you know, intelligent, all of these things, like you don't hear about any of them.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, there's amazing people everywhere.
Mhm.
You know, we grew up with a lot of amazing people. Like we sit and tell stories about people we grew up with, and you're like, we don't hear about any of that.
No.
You don't hear about the positive. You don't hear about, you know, people making it and, you know, coming back, giving back, stuff like that.
Maybe we don't do a good job of like marketing our city.
You know something? You say that, like, I want to get your opinion on this idea I have. It's not my idea. It was brought to me by Nate Montero, because he was on the Cape Verdean committee of the Cape Verdean parade, and he tried to, and where I think it's a good thing with this train coming in. You know where the Cape Verdean parade ends at the vets, right?
Yeah.
And we understand why it does, and at the vets. Why not keep it going after you still do the vets, do the thing where we do at the vets, right?
Yeah.
But keep it going and let it end at City Hall.
I actually, there was, I don't know what year it was, but we had the Cape Verdean Festival going on. We had everything going on at the Vets, Monty's, everything.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there was the Folk Festival downtown.
Yeah.
And it was like it was on two separate planets.
Yeah.
Like there was no connection between.
Yeah.
And like the Cape Verdean, you know, parade and all of that, that is New Bedford.
Yes.
Like, why aren't we celebrating it like it's New Bedford?
Yes.
You know, trying to connect the two. Where how many things did Cape Verdeans bring to, say, the whaling industry?
Yes.
So like the whaling museum, like I was on Ancestry, found out my great grandfather was here back 1897 on whale ship, whaling ships. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought my family came in like the 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So look at all those things that we brought to the city.
Yes.
But it's not connected to like our Cape Verdean, you know,
and know that, and I feel like we want to get the full community of New Bedford together all in one.
Yeah.
And people will go downtown. Some won't go to the South End. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if we do the same route, it's only a couple more blocks, right? Where it can end at there. Now you got people coming off the train right into downtown, and they may just come for that specific thing. You know what I'm saying? It's good for, because there's a lot of businesses in that area that they can stay open to keep up its restaurants, stores, and everything like that. Now you have a mixture of people. you're understanding, you're mixing cultures, and you're learning, because like I have this thing that I'm learning as I get older, that if you just stay in your culture, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Very much so.
Doing yourself you need to get out of because different cultures have their good and bad. You can learn from different cultures. You see what I'm saying? So why not being like, yo, what are they doing? How are they being? Like,
Well, just the food,
the food,
music, the everything that, and again, that is like New Bedford, and that's what
Yes.
makes New Bedford great. The fact we have all these cultures,
All these
Yeah.
we
cultures.
have all
Yeah.
these things. Like, but again, it's like it's almost like segregated. You don't
Yeah.
want to
Yes,
say
that-
but it's like
but that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
it's
But I think to what Berto said, the more you learn about like different cultures, like the better off you are,
Mhm.
right? Because I've had conversation with Berto before, like about like say dating someone, right? And I'd be
Mhm.
like, dude, I kind of complaining, I'm like, or saying like this, and he's like, dude, that's their culture.
That's their
Like,
culture.
Because I don't know, right? Because you don't know
Don't
someone's
know.
culture, you don't know how things are.
so when my wife is Greek, we first started dating, we went and watched Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it and I'm laughing. I'm like, yo, this little Greek yayas, that's my grandma. That's my bobo. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. I'm like, the father's spraying with Windex and everything. My mom is
Yeah.
over here with Bengay and like Vicks and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yo, the cultures are so similar.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we don't
No,
see that.
right.
you
Like,
don't
we
see it.
think it's like a separate thing. And it's like, yo, the culture, the food, the family. Like,
Yeah.
we have so many things in common,
Mhm.
but we don't give ourselves a chance to learn
learn.
Different cultures.
because we're like scared or put
Yeah.
off by
Yeah,
it. And it's like, wait a
exactly.
minute, we're so similar
Yeah.
We're more similar than different.
again, but like we're like afraid, and it goes for us too,
Yeah.
being in other certain situations.
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
we're
yeah.
not comfortable. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like it's not just that way towards minorities. It's the same way. Like sometimes we don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I know I've been in a lot of situations. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and again, it's like I have to look back and be like, man, maybe I was kind of closed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to learn enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you said, like, we're so similar in so many different ways.
Yeah. And so something like that, where it can end at City Hall, but it benefits the city because the train's going in. So you get the train, you're downtown.
Yeah.
Almost
You
like
know?
an aha kind of thing.
Exactly.
Put it to it, yeah.
So you get the whole city and the city's mixture and everything. That's you don't think that's gonna gravitate money and people, because people are gonna see dollars, because they're not gonna see one type of face. They're gonna see multiple faces. These are different audience I could just jump to. You know what I'm saying?
Ideas down here.
Yeah. And so now you
See the downtown area I was set up.
yeah.
What's available down there, what they can do.
Yeah, it's even like when the Zeitarian Theater opens up, that's gonna be a banger. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you show a mixture of cultures, the shows that they're gonna have there, they're gonna have to bring the different types in it, different performers that will filter different culture, and it's gonna be a melting pot.
They've
for
done
this
a good job of that, though.
Yeah, they
I
have.
will say, like, I give them a lot of credit for wanting to bring a lot of that stuff in
Mhm.
and want to just open. And that's like, we need to be open to different cultures and learning different things.
Mhm.
Like you talk about the Z, like I'm going to go see a play or
Yeah.
anything like that back in the day, but
Yeah.
I get married and then, oh yeah, I love this play. Let's go check it out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah.
And then I go and I'm
And you're
like,
liking it. Yeah.
dope. Like, oh wow.
See, the culture kept you away from that, and yeah.
Exactly. You thought it was like corny. Like,
Yeah, it's not. It's
Oh.
enjoyable. You had like going to like plays. Like when we were younger, like, do we really want to go to a play? No, I love plays. I love
we've
plays.
gone on Broadway and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go see Wicked on Broadway.
Oh, that must have
the
been-
sets and everything. I'm like, yo, this is. I know she loved it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is like a Valentine's Day gift or something I got for her, but we're there.
Yeah.
Wow, this is dope. Like, this is crazy. And I would have never been open to that
Yeah,
stuff. before.
yeah. I want to go to Michael Jackson, the MJ the musical.
that's
Michael
probably
Jackson.
cool.
I
Yeah.
want to go to that one
That
so
must be
bad.
good.
Like one of my first plays was like an all black cast, right? And check this out. I remember the name of it. It was called What Men Don't Tell. Right, and it was like a relationship movie about what men don't tell. And guess who was in it? Kenny Lattimore, Shantae Moore, the lead singer of Silk. Like, tell me the performances.
Oh man.
You remember that? Yo, it was crazy.
Well, even I don't know if it was last year or the year before at the Z when they did the Wiz.
Yep.
The
Oh.
the people there performing, it was like
Yeah.
crazy. You're watching it,
Yeah.
like wow, these people in New Bedford performing.
Yeah.
Crazy. I
Yeah.
remember seeing Sinbad down there.
Yeah.
And we saw oh God, I can't remember his name now. Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean.
Yeah, like, yo, it's like the Z got some good stuff.
Yeah, I remember like when they had Genuine there too. I remember seeing DL Hughley. That was a good one. You know, it's like having these multicultural performances in a small city like this. Do you know how much they'll just now you have the train? So say they have a performance at the Z. People say, let's go take the train. Let's go eat at Black Wheel, Carmine's. You know what I'm saying? Go to the Z. You know what I'm saying? And have a good be out. It is like,
well, look,
that's
our
good.
Restaurants, people don't like. We take that for granted.
Oh,
We have some
yeah.
great restaurants
Yeah.
around here, and people would love that. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's gonna start happening.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a mini seaport.
So I think in the future, like they're not done.
Nah, hell no.
There's so much more growth.
No, yeah. That's the chain is just getting the people there. Now the people they're coming. You build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Look at so my family's in Sacramento, California. And it's very similar to New Bedford. Like they have like the urban area, everything, and then they have like the cobblestone roads and like the old school like railroads, and it's on the river.
Yeah.
Then Seattle is like, waterfront and all of that seaport.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You said Boston, like how that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, we have that too, and it's another.
Yeah. And when you have these restaurants that's in downtown where maybe you have more of like the outside dining.
Yeah. Because
you got people along the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's restaurants downtown that you can have outside dining because the sidewalks are so big that you can have that where it's beautiful down there.
Well, can I just say like that was one of the positive things about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
People started, to eat outside just so that they can like stay open. And that was a great thing because now everyone's continuing to do it because it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we just take advantage of, because there's great architecture. It's funny. My ex, I tell you the story. My ex, I brought my ex to the Wheel. Her daughter brought him to the Wheel Museum, right? And you know how they have the balcony, right? So she's like a little 7-year-old girl, and we were going through the Wheel Museum. I just want to give her a little culture and stuff like that. And she walks on the balcony and she says, "That's fake." She's like, "That's a movie." Like she's looking at the buildings in front, right? The waterfront. She's like, "It's a movie because we're in a globe." She thought she was in a globe because it goes, "No, nothing looks like this." There's a little kid so it tells you how good, like the architecture of New Bedford, when a child cannot distinguish between what's real and what's a movie set.
We were just driving on Route 18. I think it was last night, and we're driving. They just have that walkover bridge they just put up. It's all lit up and everything.
Yeah.
Like, wow, look at that. Like,
That's
simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just one last thing I'll share is we were just at the same place last weekend, right? We were at Merrill's on the second floor, and I took a picture of like all the boats, like as the sun was going down.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit!
Yeah.
What a great picture that was.
Yeah.
Not because I took the picture, but like seeing
the view.
I mean,
We take all that for granted.
Yeah, we do because we grew around it so much. But a lot of people will come here and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
You see people that's not around here, they'll take pictures after at the Black Wheel or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to have that background. So it's a lot of potential and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad the city has all that stuff going on. So yeah.
All right, what else we got, man?
Now I want to move on to your boy Elon Musk.
That's your boy.
Elon Musk, and so my thing is not like so much like I didn't really want to get into like Musk and like Doge and Trump and that what he's doing. My shit is I'm so tired of seeing these Teslas being vandalized, and like my thinking is these people are vandalizing Teslas because it's Trump, because it's Musk, right? But most of the people that own Teslas are Democrats.
Well, then we were talking about it before. Like things have changed because people were hating on electric vehicles. They don't want them now. Honestly, I think what happens is, people will say, well, since they're doing it against Musk, oh, they don't care. Because no, most people will be like, yo, you get caught vandalizing or looting or doing, and you get caught, put them in jail. You know what I mean? I don't think normal people are advocating for that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't see that.
I don't think so at all.
No, because that's a little overboard.
But every day
boycott, you could boycott, don't buy it, say what you want. That's taking it.
But every day we see like cars getting vandalized, right?
I mean, one thing I don't think he's genuine in. We're like, oh, I haven't done anything wrong. Like, bro, like, yeah, people are mad.
Yeah.
And that I think
People are mad whether you agree with whatever. Like, you get laid off from your job and you're gonna be pissed off. Regardless, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all would be. You know,
Right, but right,
that doesn't give an excuse to do that.
yeah. So I think like that vandalism and is never the answer.
No.
But the thing is, like, some of these people that are vandalizing cars, it seems like they're advocating to like shut Tesla down. How many people are going to lose their job if that happens?
Oh, no doubt.
So if you're going to complain about, this guy advocating to close down some government workers or whatever, you hate that. But if Tesla closes down, how many people are going to lose their job? So
yeah,
it shit just makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
a lot of this stuff don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't think that far down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I want to hurt this guy's pockets. Are you ever going to put a dent in that guy's pockets? I
Right.
doubt it. But I mean, I think we're like a reactive society too, if you think about it. We're angry. We want to show you we're angry.
Yeah.
So like my 5-year-old, because he was a little speech delayed. So every time he was angry, he had to show it physically, right?
Right.
So now that he's 5 and his speech is up to par and everything's good, he has a hard time verbalizing why he's angry, right? So he's still that physical. So like I think a lot of people have to show their emotion. You can't have a conversation, right? We can't disagree and be like, all right, well, we disagree. That's it. You got to physically show it. You got to show you're angry. You got to prove.
Yeah.
And, I think that's just.
I want to play devil's advocate because I feel like this is happening because they're not listening to the people.
Who?
The administration in itself, Elon Musk. It's to a point where it's like, all right, we don't like what you're doing and how you're doing it, but you're still doing it and you're ruining people's lives. So they're resulting to a point where you're not listening to our voice, or maybe you listen to action.
So let me ruin someone else's life because you don't like that he's ruining someone's life.
It's I'm not saying it's right, but what other if you're not listening to the people, what other options will you have? You just accept the fact that, and now number one, you're not an elected official. We didn't elect you into this position for you to take away our livelihood. So we'll just take yours.
Well,
right or wrong is just is to a point. Now I get the whole point of what he's saying they're doing, which that's a different conversation. I don't think that's what they're doing, but it's to a point where if y'all gonna take away our livelihood and our money, we're gonna take away yours. Now, is it smart to do? But whether how else would you expect someone to say, "Hey, listen to me"?
I mean, my question I would have is, what is Elon Musk doing to you? Like, okay, so he, in my opinion, from what I see, he's advocating. He's not firing people. I think the administration would be. He's advocating cuts that he sees. He's advocating waste that he sees. I see this waste in XYZ. He tells the administration.
But when he's doing that, he's just cutting what he sees. Oh, like that's like that's like, for an example, I'm gonna cut this department. Oh shit, this department handles nuclear weapons. Oh, shall we come back? I'm gonna cut
too fast.
That's
it's
where you're getting.
We don't know what happens. Like what's gonna happen after that cut, right? Like I think everyone's like, hey, there's tons of waste, there's tons of shit that is going on, or we pay for that we shouldn't be. Like we all have to pay taxes, and that goes to things that we probably like, I'm not really in favor of that or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's happening way too quick.
Yeah.
That's like, I said this the other day, that's like me coming into my job. I got one person that been there 40 years, one person 30 years, and I'm like, I don't need either one of you, and I just get rid of them like the first week.
Yeah.
And then like, oh damn, that's 70 years of institutional knowledge that I just lost.
Yes, that's my point. Yes.
I mean, I agree with that. Like, I agree with that. But, the conversation that we're having, I agree that's fast. But the conversation that we're having is, do you know that Tesla, Musk, he owns 12%. He owns 12% of Tesla. So you're talking about, what their reaction is, if you're going to take money out of people's pockets or fire people, we're going to crush your business. He owns 12% of it.
Yeah.
So you're crushing, not just him, you're crushing, 88% of someone else's.
But here's the thing: you're saying it's not affecting them, but it is affecting them when you're doing an infomercial on the White House lawn. You see how it affected them, but that shows that I'm used the word ignorance. It's to a point where the people are doing that for a reason, and you still ignore them, and you want to do an infomercial on the White House lawn, the president, to help Elon Musk sell these cars. That again, Trump is not there to help Elon. You're there to help the people, and the people are speaking, and you're choosing to
Well,
ignore
okay.
them.
Can I just rebut that for 1 second?
Okay.
When you say that people are speaking,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to say that there's not a certain amount of people that are speaking about that,
Yeah.
but I do think the majority of people are fine with them cutting out waste that we all know is going on.
We all do, but it's the way you're doing it. And when you're doing it to hurt people, it's almost, you ever see that Tupac video when he says, listen, we are hungry. We're saying it nice. Hey, we're knocking on the door. We ain't hungry. He's still ain't feeding us. He goes, yo, can you feed us, please? We're begging this and that. Next thing you know, we're knocking down buildings. We asked nicely plenty of times over years, and you ignored us. Now we're gonna knock down buildings. You hear us now?
Yeah, but
And that those were minorities. There was only black people. It wasn't the majority. But now you're hearing us now because now we're knocking down buildings. We asked nicely years before. So it's the same thing.
Well, okay. I mean, well, I think, I think on the flip side is it's the same thing as if people are asking, stop wasting my taxpayers' money, stop wasting my.
Well, this is what
people ask the same thing. They're probably happy to see someone step up.
But we've done this before. President Clinton, Bill Clinton,
Over
did
300,000.
it did the same thing, but he did it strategically. And by the end of his administration, we ended up in a surplus. He just didn't cut people because he understood what government's all about. We're not a business to make profit. We pay taxes to provide us a service. Is there excess spending? 100%. So do we got to run it more efficiently and much more better? Yes. But you cannot eliminate departments that handle nuclear codes. You cannot like fire FAA that handle the planes and air traffic control. You cannot take away somebody's security, social security, who is 82 years old, but you say he's dead. Like, he's not dead. Like, you can't, like, you're taking away research for cancer, but yet you're throwing a kid out during the State of the Union, like, here's the cancer kid, and but you're mad about people not clapping, but you're not mad about he's taking away departments that research to try to find something to cure cancer. That's where it's like you got to strategically do it. You know what I'm saying?
Delivery is everything. I mean, it's how you go about stuff. And my thing is, like, both sides of the aisles do it. Both sides of the aisle do it.
100%.
You got January 6th. You got the looting, and you got all that stuff. Like when they were camping out in Boston and all these places. I mean, we're all reactive.
Yes.
Okay? So on both sides. So, and I see it, and I see. Look, I deal with politics every day. I see the hypocrisy on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm probably perfect for my job because I don't really trust. Like, I judge
either
people
side.
who they are,
individual
who they are. So, like, I see people now posting memes about, oh, now you hate this guy, but you have a Tesla.
Yeah.
Now you hate him, and it's like, wait a minute, you just hated him a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And again, we're such a reactive society, like, and we get kind of like you were saying, like, something bad happens, we want to react to it. We want to get emotion behind it. And most of us, it's not rational, it's emotion. Most of what we react to is emotional. Like when there's an accident, we want to watch it because we're like, oh, that person's hurt, that person's probably dead, you know what I mean? We just that's how
we're humans
now.
We're humans, and it is the way it is. That's why on this show I don't like it being Democratic or Republican. Don't that's not an argument on this show. Don't come in and say, well, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, because they both have their flaws. Don't get me wrong. I'm paying attention to the individual. What is the individual and their influence on society, of what they're doing and why they're doing it. We go by individuals versus a party, because I feel like when you go by parties, you're contributing to the separation of the country. And we're all together.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
If there's the governor of Maryland, Westmore, him and I believe, I don't know the gentleman's name, he's a Republican from Utah. And they have this, they started this group, and what it was is they come together and they talk about things in a civil way. So, like, say the topic is abortion, right? Democrat, Republican, you're never going to agree, right? Whether it's legal, whether it's not, whether it's a life, whether it's not. So they're like, you know what? Why don't we start the conversation at healthcare for mothers, for women? when we started on healthcare for young children, we can all kind of agree on those things, right?
Yeah.
We need those things.
Yeah.
If we're gonna start at the point where it's like whether abortion is right or wrong,
Mhm.
we ain't getting nowhere.
No.
Yeah.
And right now, this is where we start every single conversation. It's at a point where we're fighting. And I want to knock you down, you want to knock me down. I want to be right, I want you to be wrong. I'm
Yeah.
smart, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, we're not having conversations on really trying to fix things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, it's like, well, you guys ruined it over the last 4 years. Well, you ruined it 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Like,
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
So yeah, so Westmore was like, yo, you can't claim to be a true American if you hate half of the people in America,
yeah,
regardless of what side you're on.
yeah,
Right? Because at the end of the day, we're all Americans, right?
mm-hmm.
Supposedly, right?
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all patriots. We're
Yeah.
all Americans. We're all of these things. So we gotta look to find ways where we can kind of compromise and come together. At least have a conversation.
Yeah, I hate the hate that's out there. Okay, like I love everyone. I know my political views are not the same as the next guy's, whatever. But I mean, honestly, I don't care who you vote for. If you're a nice person, if you're respectful, we can be friends.
Yeah.
Like
Right?
we said, the other day, it's all perspective, life experience. I've been through certain things. You've been through certain, we're all
I
different.
say it all the time. You're
Right?
saying, yeah, you're repeating, yup.
So it's
Yeah.
like, that doesn't make me right and you
But
wrong.
people hate people
just off that.
who they vote for. Like if I say, hey, I voted for Trump, people are gonna instantly hate me.
Oh, people hate me for my job. I get a
Yeah, it's like
and they don't even know. I don't.
it's
even
just
have,
wrong.
Yeah, they just take someone else's word for
Yeah.
it. Oh, I saw it on Facebook. I heard it on radio. I heard this. So you're this bad person.
Yeah, because people
Yeah.
don't care about the truth because the lie's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yo, seriously.
Yeah.
The lies are more entertaining. Like I had a debate. It was I said something on Facebook, and the person was like, they gave the reason why they voted for Trump, and they're still using that thing where illegal immigrants can vote.
It's not true.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, I just heard that the other day that I made a motion to give more time for mail-in voting because more and more people are using it.
Yeah.
Democrat and Republican, by the way, everybody's using it. During the last presidential, a third of our votes in New Bedford were mail-in.
Mhm.
So I want to expand it. And then it's like, well, you just want to give illegals more chance to vote by mail. And I'm like, people are listening to guys that don't even know the process.
Yeah.
Like, it's so secure, and like, we don't just mail out ballots and people don't just come back. And just hand it in.
that's not how
everything
it
is
works.
Logged, but again, you're listening to people that really don't know.
No.
They're claiming to know, but like, I've never had a conversation with them. Like, my door is open. Come on in. I'll show you the process.
Let me ask you this. Like, you got illegal immigrants. Now you got people who have papers, but they're not citizens. Can they vote?
No.
Thank you.
To vote, you have to be 18.
Yeah.
You have to be a citizen, and you have to have a legal residence within New Bedford, right? That's what a New
So
Bedford
you don't have
resident
if you have like a visa, a work visa, you can't vote.
No. And that law hasn't changed. A lot of people thought when you were given undocumented licenses now, right?
Mhm.
They was, now they can automatically vote. No, having a license has nothing to do with you
No.
voting or not. Now, when you go and you're a citizen and all of that stuff, that's still valid.
Yeah.
You get your license, you're automatically registered to vote. They
Yeah.
changed that law, but the criteria hasn't changed. 18, American citizen, legal resident, having a legal residence within the city. That hasn't changed. Now, am I going to sit here and say like fraud doesn't happen or anything like that? Yeah, but there's no proof of it in the city or whatever. And I always say, like, you catch someone doing it, throw the book at them.
Yeah.
That'll stop everybody else from doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm an advocate for, all right, you catch someone committing fraud, do what you got to do against them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I don't care who they vote for. Not to mention, there's no proof that it favors one party or the other, or who's doing it, who's not doing it. Like,
it doesn't happen that much for it has any effect on
small
the
percentage. And you know how many people would have to be in cahoots?
For it to
on a
affect
national level.
Yeah.
And again, and no one's gonna talk. And no one's gonna record something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would be writing a book and making all kind of money off
Yeah.
it. Like, most of the people that work for me are like 60, 70, 80 years old. They barely even know the technology as it is.
Yeah.
Then like everything gets verified. You know what I mean? I'm looking at everything. Like, even if I wanted to, I couldn't, because like everything, all the numbers got to tie off. Like, we got physical back. Like, there's so many parts to it that most people don't know.
Yeah.
They just think like, so in
Turn
a
in the
state
paper.
election,
Yeah.
the state will mail out applications to everybody. I can mail you out 10 applications. You could try to send 10 back. I'm only going to accept one of them
Mm-hmm.
because as soon as I get your application back and I put
Well,
it in the system,
that's it.
I already got yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If I mail you a ballot, right? If I get one back, say you try to send another one, I already got a ballot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like there's so many safeguards in place. Is it perfect? Of course not. But the best we have in Massachusetts is amazing when it comes to a lot of that stuff.
So when you're saying when you go to like a ward,
Yeah.
right, and you say your name, whatever, and they look
Yep.
up your name, whatever. That list of people, when they flip all the pages, right?
Yep.
Alphabetical order.
Yep.
That's just like
Registered voters.
registered voters. So
Yep.
like American citizens,
It's only
residents.
only registered voters. It has your name, your date of birth, and it has your address, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people that work there have been there for years and years and years. So they know who's who.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will say, well, I know this person doesn't live there anymore, blah, 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 whatever. You have to take them off. That's not how it works. There's only a certain amount of years, or you
Yeah.
gotta let us know, or someone dies. Like every day we're updating that. But if I go back and someone says, well, that person moved 5 years ago or whatever, and I go back in and I'm like, all right, yeah, this person hasn't voted either. So they might not be at that address or whatever. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, people are just going in and just giving random names or whatever. But again, if you get caught doing that, throw the book at somebody.
Yeah. No.
I just
question.
don't think like there's hundreds and thousands of people that are doing that.
And when that person was challenging me on that, I'm like, I called them ignorant.
Yeah.
They didn't like that word, and I use that word because I know that it has like a negative connotation. But if you look at the definition, is lack of knowledge and awareness.
Yeah.
So you're being ignorant, and like after all this time, like you got Google in front of you, you could do it right in front of you and tell you, like, but you're actually, that's the reason why you really think that's going on. I'm like, come on.
But again, people don't want to take the time to like research and call and ask questions. Like I want people to call and ask questions. I got people that are gonna call and not listen, and like kind of argue and like, you know, throw accusations and stuff. I had this kid call and he's like, yeah, you guys changed me from one party to the next party. I know the city's doing that, so you get more money and grants and this and that. And I'm like, look, I said first off, I don't have enough time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, and we're not changing anything that we don't get something from like a state agency, or you got to send something in or whatever. I said, check this out. So I'm gonna research this and I'll call you back. Right? If I'm wrong, mistake on our end, I'll apologize, whatever. If you're wrong, you apologize. So I go through and I got this dude registered as this when he was like 18. I got his signature, I got his address, I got everything. So, and then in a certain year, he moved. He didn't change his party, he just changed his address. So I called him back and I'm like, all right, this year you registered as this. I got your signature, I got everything. Oh, I was young then. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, wait a minute, apology? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I said, look, you have questions, come on in. Like, let's grab a coffee, let's talk, whatever. I said, what I want you to do is whenever someone comes to you with something like that, I'm like, have them call me. Like, hey man, he's a cool guy. He's honest.
Yeah.
Let me figure it out. I'm like, but you call me accusing me of breaking the law, which again, what do I have to gain by that? You know what I mean? But again, it's just not understanding how things work and the knowledge, and you know, I could pretty much find out anything, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's just lack of knowledge. Maybe it's not ignorance. Maybe that's a strong word. Maybe some people.
No, but that's what ignorance means, is lack of knowledge. So I'm using that to get your attention. I know what I'm doing. I know how they're taking it, but that's not how I mean it. I mean it with the definition of the word to get you to be like, all right, I want you to try to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And I know you're not going to prove me wrong. And if I got to force you and make you defend your pride to go search the truth, then go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So it's and again, I go back to how get out of your culture, get out of your surroundings, because sometimes those thoughts could be just in the group you're in and you're having these like-minded conversations. That's not true. Because the way I learned, because I knew somebody that was here that has their green card, but I learned from them. I can't vote. I didn't research it. I was just outside of my bubble, and I was mixed in with someone that was not in my normal environment, and told me, he's like, yeah, I can't vote. I'm like, I'm here legally, but I can't vote. I'm like, oh shit.
There are places where if you're a law-abiding citizen, I mean not citizen, and you pay taxes and you work in the area or whatever, they might let you vote locally. I think there's places in New York like that.
Yeah.
But again, they meet a certain criteria to be able to vote. It's just anybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, Massachusetts doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So we're not that. And again, if whatever issue you have with that location or whatever, like I get people that call me like, oh, they're letting immigrants across and they're all voting in Texas. I'm like, man, I work in New Bedford. Like that's way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what I mean? They're not here.
And that's a Republican state. I don't think they're doing that shit. I don't think.
But like, you got to think about it. Like, especially now, like, why would you want to bring attention to yourself?
Yeah.
You want nothing to do with government right now. You want nothing to do with police. You want none. You're going to risk that.
Yeah.
To do something that most Americans aren't doing themselves.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Most Americans are not voting.
No.
So let me just, I'll end this with my thought here is the Tesla conversation changed a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay, but
no,
but I got educated.
Yeah. So my question for you, or what I would like to see happen, is every 4 years when you vote for president, there should be a national holiday.
Yeah.
Everyone should so I think you'll get more people to vote. Make it more of like a big deal, right?
So we had the day off in New Bedford. It was off. Schools weren't in. Now you got 2 weeks of early voting in person. You can vote. You got mail-in. There really isn't any excuse why people don't vote anymore.
Right.
And we had, I think it was 45% voted, but even that has changed now. Like things have changed. So like I said, everybody's automatically registered when they go out. So voter registration numbers are up. So obviously percentages are going to go down. So you got to kind of start looking at it like the number of people that go out to vote, right? Because how we're counting things is different. And we always got to kind of adapt and change with what's happening. But right now, there's literally no excuse for people not to vote.
Right.
If you don't trust mail-in, you can come downtown and vote in person, right? Similar process to mail-in where I have extra steps that I got to do. And it's super secure. And you can make sure that your vote was counted. You could track all of that.
Right.
Like there really is no excuse other than not really caring, or rather just complain about it on Facebook or calling, that there's really it's getting easier and easier to vote.
Yeah, I would love to see a holiday, at least for the presidency, every 4 years.
Yeah,
I think that'd be something cool to do. Just my thought.
Yeah, and I'm all for whatever they do to get more people to come out.
Because plus, like you say, a lot of these schools, a lot of times you vote in the schools. Sometimes a library. So the schools sound most of them, right? So it's like just shut everything down.
It's tough because like now the schools do their schedules way ahead of time.
Yeah.
So like when I try to line things up, say for like a local election, we don't have that finalized until like say we just finalize or we're trying to finalize it now. School schedule is already set like October or something. So like to line up those days, it's almost impossible. You know what I mean? And we are in a lot of schools because that's like ADA compliant. You got to be accessible to
handicap.
And we don't have a lot of buildings in the city that are. So it's just the school
in their precincts.
In there, it got to be in the
their precincts, right?
So, in or adjoining.
Yeah.
So like, and there's a lot of that stuff that people don't understand. Either. A lot that goes into it.
Yeah. All right, B.
All right. What we got next? Put up a topic. I mean.
All right, this is the one I want right here.
Well, go ahead.
Break it up.
Go ahead. What we got. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's lay it a little bit. All right. If this was a crazy week for Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. I wanna. Jesus Christ. If anybody was watching just ESPN or just watching a Lakers basketball game, there was an incident where LeBron James approached Stephen A. Smith after a game. And Stephen A. Smith was sitting on the sideline, and LeBron James was having a conversation, we could say, a heated conversation with Stephen A. Smith. Come to find out, he was defending his son of what Stephen A. Smith said about his son. And oh my God. Dirk has a bladder problem. You know? And Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. It was caught on camera. In my perception of it, I think LeBron James was trying to play bully. Yeah, I'm the bigger guy, and he just basically was trying to defend his son. Being a father of a basketball player, that I'm sure that people been saying, and you've been coaching and all that stuff. What is your opinion on? Let's talk about LeBron's reaction first. LeBron's reaction to Stephen A. Smith, what he said.
I mean, it's easy to say you're a professional. You just gotta let all that stuff slide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a professional at my job. People say things, and you don't know how hard it is to hold your tongue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'd love to run into these people on the street and see if they would say it's not that you want to fight anybody or whatever, but give them the opportunity and have the opportunity to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that easy. And then being a father, so Avery, great basketball player. And I remember we were at a game and he's in college, and I think they were playing Roger Williams. And there's kids there just running their mouth on the side of us as me and my wife. And we had brought a couple kids that play for me. And these kids were like running their mouth, talking back and forth. And Avery's like going back and forth with them. And I stood up and I'm staring at the kids. And my wife goes, sit your old ass down. You know what I mean? And I just got caught up in that moment because even though, he's 20 something at the time, he could handle himself. Like you get caught up. I'm caught up on, you're talking about my kid.
Yeah.
You're talking about my son. And I feel LeBron, everybody's watching what he's doing. There's cameras everywhere. Stephen A's paid to bluster and, run his mouth. You kind of know that's, where it's coming from. But, I don't know. I can't really blame him, man. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. I like to think that I wouldn't do that, but
I'm Team Stephen A on this one. The reason being,
me too,
because what he said about it was nothing about his son.
Yeah,
and it was about LeBron, and it was basically he was basically saying, LeBron, stop it. Don't do this to your son, because the reason being, LeBron was saying he's better than a lot of people in the NBA. LeBron was saying his son's better than, he was saying that, listen, if you want me, you have to draft my son. You're putting the spotlight on your son to a point where he's coming to the professional ranks, and he's always going to be held to a certain standard, and he's going to be criticized more than because he's LeBron's son. Don't do this to your son. You know what I'm saying? And basically that's what he was saying. Y'all putting your son in the fire where I don't know if he's going to be able to handle it.
I mean, Stephen A says so much. How does it even remember exactly what he said? Because he just spouts off all the time.
Well,
so who knows?
Stephen, and the reason why I'm on Stephen A's side of this, because I remember Stephen A, he made a point, because I'm not talking about LeBron's son while he was in high school. It was in high school. We're not doing it because people wanted to, because he was LeBron's son. He goes, it's not fair to that kid to talk about this kid when he's in high school trying to find a way. Stephen A made a point. We're not talking about him on First Take. We're not doing that. Because he respected this kid's gonna already have the pressure already.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Stephen A had more respect for his son than LeBron did for his own son. You know what I'm saying? So now he's doing, and now he's like, listen, don't do this.
You ever hear fathers talk about their kids though?
Yeah,
I sit there, I coach now, and I see kids, and everyone will talk them up, and I'll be like, man, my son would have wiped the floor with this kid. He's not even close. But in my mind, is that reality? I mean, because again, you're looking at your kid you're so proud of what they've accomplished.
But don't you think that if you're going to a level on the professional ranks where you're gonna have the world talking about you, you got to be conscious. You got to really think about what you're saying, because when LeBron James, the best player in the league, is saying my son is better than most players in the NBA, our eyes gonna be on your son, okay? And we're gonna critique every last thing of his game, and more pressure.
But I mean, this kid was born into pressure, right?
Yes.
Like there's no escaping it.
No.
Now, what if he never even made it? There's still man.
Yeah.
Your father, you suck and whatever. Like, look at Jordan's
Like
kids.
Jordan's kids.
Jordan's kids never made it, but look at the pressure they probably had.
Yeah.
I've even dealt with it like, older brothers and then their little brother, and like my Theo's like 11 years old. I'm like, yo, you don't have to be your older brother.
Yeah.
You're good enough as you.
Yeah.
And I've had other players where I'm like, yo, you don't have to be your older brother. I like you as you are.
Yeah.
Be the player that you are. You know what I mean? But as a dad, like I get LeBron, like
I get the father protecting but
and there's a fine line.
But
yeah.
Go ahead.
The thing is, to me with LeBron, and I'm not a LeBron guy, so
no, neither am I. I'm a Jordan guy,
right? I'm a Jordan guy
yeah.
too. But the thing is, like how LeBron handled it. Okay, so I get protecting your kid, but like to go at Stephen A. Smith after the game, dude, the cameras are going to be on you. You kind of like blindsided him or sucker punched him, not physically, but to say a couple words and walk away. Like, dude, like Stephen A. said, have a conversation with me.
Yeah,
talk about it.
Didn't Stephen A. say he would have swung on him?
Yeah.
But he also said, "I'll get my ass kicked."
Oh, hell
he said, "I'll get my ass kicked." But yo, if you're coming at me, I'm swinging, yo. Like that's it. Because if I'm going down fighting. I know you kick my ass, but Joe, like
who's loving this right now?
Who?
Stephen A.
No question.
Yeah, talking about him.
Yeah.
It's more publicity. It's more press. It's more Stephen A. No one loves Stephen A. more than Stephen A. Like he's loving it.
Yeah.
He's on the level of all of these athletes.
Yeah,
right.
Because even though he's talking about them, now he's a superstar too.
But he already was.
Yeah,
like he's the LeBron James of ESPN, say, right? So he's already at that level in his head. Yeah, in his head. But these guys, I'm not a LeBron fan because of the way he handles stuff, but it's the way he handled it. Going up to him, but he's always been that way. Whether it's like getting someone kicked out of the stands because it's like this dude just has a way of he wants to walk this easy path and no one can say anything negative. I think that's what it is.
And when I hear those arguments about LeBron in the 80s and 90s and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it would have been a totally
different.
Who would have locked them down? My nephew yesterday, we were talking about, he was like,
put
Giannis.
Dennis Rodman.
He said Giannis would have done. I'm like, Robin would have locked him up.
Yo, Robin would have locked him up
mentally,
big time.
It's not even like just the physical. Like
he would have
in that dude's head, and
he's just as big as LeBron. He would have just he would have locked him up easy.
Clotheslining folks, and not getting kicked out the game.
Nah. Different, totally different.
Yeah.
You had a Rudy Gobert on every team. You had 7'2", 7'3", 7'4" shot blocker.
Yep.
Every team and on
the bench too. Yeah.
Rick Mahorn.
Yeah.
I mean, countless dudes down low. Banging.
Even the gods.
Yeah, even the gods. Yo,
oh man.
Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max, yo.
And then the whole argument about like the athletes now and blah blah blah. It's like Doncic and Jokic aren't athletes. Their IQ is ridiculous.
Yeah,
they know how to play the game. Like Bird knew how to play the game.
Well, they say
Jordan knew how.
Bird would be too slow to play now. Yet you have Doncic and
he was more athletic than both of those.
Yeah.
And his shot, I mean, the game has changed, right? Like there wasn't as many threes. He shot 4 threes a game, maybe.
Yeah.
And that was a lot.
Not even.
Yeah.
Not even. Imagine he's taking.
Don't mean they can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and nobody clogging the lane for Jordan.
I call Doncic Chris Mullin.
Yeah. Mullen
he's
nice.
Yeah. Mullin was not, but so is Doncic. But
Eric was the Mullen back in the day.
They used to call me. They used to call me Chris Mullin, right?
We talked about Mike Thomas, the John Bagley, the Lebanese John Bagley.
Yeah.
Yo, Mullen was tough.
Yo, Mullen was tough. Yo,
St. John's, like
St. John's,
Big East, you had to be tough.
Yep. Yo, he was player of the year three.
Bro, he was non-athletic.
No, Mullen was. Yo, he could shoot his ass.
He was on the dream team.
Yeah, you forget that he was on the dream team.
But he was already beyond it. Like it was like Bird and that.
Yeah.
Like, he had already like started his decline, but we didn't see him before that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like all these new fans, like yo,
Run TMC.
Oh yeah, Richmond,
Hardaway, Richmond. Like I remember showing my son Avery the crossover, the Hardaway crossover.
Oh, I killed him.
Crazy. These guys were super talented, man.
Yeah.
And then what people forget too is like, all right, you put these guys now and give them the same advantages that these guys have.
Oh yeah,
trainers, one coach per player, personal chefs, all these, jets and all the hotels compared to what those dudes had back in and they had it decent in the 90s and 80s.
Yeah.
How about you're talking about before that when they're riding the bus or they can't eat at the same restaurants as white players or you know what I mean? They're working full time for half a year. Like, but give them those advantages now. who knows what they would have been too? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
they dealt with a lot of adversity back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the game was different.
It's very different. And so, like, getting back to the Stephen A. and LeBron James, I just feel like look, the way, like, listen to Stephen A. There's a lot of things that he's just holding to the chest that about LeBron, where he made a statement like, you really don't got a lot of friends that are players in the league. Your friends are who you brought in, that's around you and your business and everything, but you don't really got friends, and we all know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, he knows there's a lot of things that I know.
I want it to come out.
I would like, but
it will at some point, you know.
Okay, here,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I think LeBron's in his feelings because he's at the end of his career. He don't have power like he used to now. You know, that Doncic trade, that trade was like, all right, LeBron, we know you're about to leave, and you don't have the power like you used to. So once you leave the game, that's it. The reign is over. So now, did he ruin a lot of relationships thinking that he was the big dog? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you don't have, like Stephen A. said, goes, you don't have a lot of friends in the league. For, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why I like Jordan, because Jordan, he's petty.
Oh,
he's petty. Like, I wonder if they're gonna have stories about LeBron, like you have stories like Jordan, where, remember when he came back and he lost to Orlando, right? And then when they swept him, right? And then the last game, when they swept him, he was at the foul line. He made the first shot, right? But then he missed the second shot on purpose, right? And he goes, yo, why did he miss the second shot? Because look at the scoreboard. He goes, it was number 45. because he said 45 is not 23, right? And when he changed to 23, yeah, that's petty, man.
But all those were Bird, like all those cats.
Yeah.
But they like respected and loved each other.
Yeah, they did.
To hear Jordan, Bird talk about Magic and that, like how much they love each other.
Yeah.
And, yo, there was no more fierce competitors.
No.
Oh yeah.
Guys. Like, yo, that's respect. Like,
yeah. So it's a different. I always call LeBron the king of the weakest era in basketball. You're the king of the weakest era, bro. And I don't even think that is your era. You could say it could be Steph Curry's era. Maybe he had more influence on the game than you did.
We just sound really old right now.
We do.
We do.
But listen, like
I agree, but we sound
when these young kids, they talk about LeBron like he's the greatest. How can you talk about that when you never saw Michael play? It's different for going on. If you literally just watch Michael play, it's unbelievable.
It's not even just the game, just like the feeling and just like the whole era around Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, it was like an aura. It was like bigger than basketball, right? Without him, none of these guys are doing what they're doing.
Nah,
the
nothing.
Shoe deals and all of that stuff. Like, it was more than just basketball when it was Mike, Bird, those guys.
Yeah.
It was just, man, everybody wanted to be like Mike.
Yeah.
Yo, everybody wanted to be like those dudes.
Well, I think also too is as far as like LeBron goes, since he was coming out of high school, whatever, ESPN and the media like flushed him down our throats, right? LeBron, he's the greatest of all, the chosen one. Everything was like LeBron, right? Even when he won Rookie of the Year, there's people that argue that it should have been the kid from Denver,
Carmelo.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So they people say Carmelo should have won it, Carmelo, but
Carmelo was a great player.
They wanted LeBron the whole way.
The game has changed. Like, as a coach and someone that loved basketball, we grew up playing every day. We talk about that all the time. And it's like, I don't even like watching the game really.
Me either.
It's not fun. It's like basketball was like it was like art.
Yes.
Beautiful to watch. Like the ball movement, the stuff. Like every now and then, like when the Celtics move the ball, like, like get like 2-3 passes, D White hits a 3.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's basketball. That's beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore.
It's not.
Too many threes. I mean, I love watching Joker.
Yeah.
Because, dude, his passes reminds me of Bird. You know what I mean? But
you don't even see nice passes anymore.
Everything's so spaced out, man. It's just one-on-one. It's, there's really not.
You don't see like the Ross Stricklands or the Kevin Johnsons or the Jason Kidds. Like, oh my God. Like, ever since like Rondo used to be amazing passer.
Rondo was one of my favorite players.
Oh,
yeah.
He'll dominate a game just by passing the ball. He was like a Magic.
I love point guards.
Yeah.
Like, ever since like my coach made me a power forward, I'm not big. So like I always love like my kids. Oh, you're gonna be a guard. You're gonna be a point. You're gonna be I love watching ball movement and guys that could just thread the needle. Like if I see a kid now that can see the whole court
Yeah.
and make those passes and make his teammates better,
Yeah.
like I want that kid on my team.
Yeah.
Some coaches like, I want the kid that's going to score 30. I'm like, man, I
No.
want this guy that's just going to feed everybody,
Everybody.
and the whole team's eating. And
Yeah.
he's playing the right way, just because like that's basketball too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I love, kids that can score, and it's cool to have like a kid on your team that can do that and carry you. But I'd rather have a kid that's making his whole team.
Whole team, yeah.
And like now it's just everything is just that one individual.
That positionless basketball, I don't like that. Like I like having positions, so everybody has their role, and it's almost like a Voltron. Like everybody just comes. Everybody has their own individual way of doing things, but then you just come together as a team, and you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And so it's
What would happen back in the day if you had like your big man is outside shooting threes?
Yeah.
You would want that dude on his team.
No.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because he's not grabbing boards. He's not,
not.
defending. He's like jacking up threes. You're like, oh, this dude, like no one would pick that kid.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a center for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now it's like that dude
Yeah.
is the one that everyone wants now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't pick the guy that
MB.
can only play downstairs.
Oh, MB. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
He's like the biggest dude out there. It's like, get down there, man. It's like just get people in foul trouble. It's like that's used to be the three. You go to the hole and try to get the and one. But even if you don't get the and one, now that person's foul. Now he's in foul trouble. He might have to play tentative.
Yeah.
Right. Was easy score. So now it's a chess match.
Yep.
I gotta get you out for a couple of minutes because I gotta save you for the end, or you do get fouled out. Like now people don't even foul out anymore.
If you're 3 for 12 from 3, that's a great day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It ruins the. Let me I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but I gotta ask your opinion on this one. Like we was having this conversation about the NIL in college, right? Like I feel like I get the whole player aspect of pay the player. All right. I don't like the transport portal open up during the tournament. I don't like that, kids can leave whenever they want to a different school. I think that it should be, if you should be obligated to stay there for at least 2 years. I think you should stay in school for 2 years, meaning because I feel like, for an example, Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag should stay 1 more year. Not because he's not good enough to go to the NBA, but he's a legit 18-year-old. All right. So go, like, you're gonna make a lot of money. You're at Duke, a prestigious school, basketball school, a blue blood, and y'all are gonna probably be the player of the year. Go back to school. You're gonna be on national television every single day. So you're gonna make your money, but you're also gonna be able to build your brand even more. But allow yourself to grow into your body. So because I feel like you're seeing a lot of injuries. You're seeing a lot of injuries in the NBA with these young players because the bodies are not ready for an 82-game season.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I think you're gonna start seeing guys stay because they're gonna be making money in college. So there's not that like rush to leave anymore. Like
Yeah, but what do you think they get the whole idea?
these schools are making so much money off
You
these
gotta
kids.
look at this way. Who started wanting to pay with the big three? This one's starting this way. Hey, let's get together. Let's put on the same. Got it from the pros.
Yeah,
true.
Everybody started wanted to play with this one down and this way, and you can bounce around.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not above these kids making money. Not every kid makes all kind of money.
No.
The money part, yeah, but the porthole, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big NFL draft guy, right?
Yeah.
My brother Mark, when he played, he was like draft eligible. I started really watching the draft, and now I love the draft. They call me Mel Kiper Jr. I'm on all of that stuff, right? And looking at some of these prospects, they played at 3-4 colleges. Like that is crazy. Like back in the day, if you played at like 2 colleges or more, like they're like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
It's got to be an issue why he's moving. Now it's like nothing. It's like the good players do play at different schools and bounce around.
But are they coachable?
And that's the thing. Like, why are they like? I don't know. It's hard to know. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's got to be rules because it's all right. This NCAA should have a thing. All right, you can make money. You're worried about your brand, yes. So as NCAA, as an organization, we worry about our brand. You going school to school is not good for our brand, and it's not good for the NBA brand because remember when we sound old, but it was like college basketball was so much better to watch because we knew the players, and then these players and you watch them come up in the NBA and made you watch more games because you want to see this player that was great in NCAA, how they're gonna be in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So now the NCAA gonna have their like that mindset. Okay, worry about your brand. These are the rules or whatever, but we gotta worry about our brand and here's our rules so we can build our brand. And especially the NBA should worry about that too.
Everything has changed. The AAU culture has changed everything.
Yeah.
Right. And see, I'm a coach. I don't recruit. I don't do any of that. You know what I mean? I've been doing it so long. I got kids that come and family members and younger brothers or whatever. But like, you'll work with the kid for a couple of years. No one wants that kid. He's at the end of your bench or whatever. And you get him going and he's working. And if you help him get to a certain spot, then here comes another team and promises this kid, oh, you don't have to pay to come play with us.
Yeah.
So now they take a kid that you've already invested all this time. And for me, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, people grow out of your program. They want different things. And hey, doors are always open if you ever want to come back. Grass ain't always greener. But you're probably seeing that you are seeing that in high school.
Yeah.
Guys are coming, they go to schools and then prep schools come in and sweep them up and whatever, which is great for the kid, I guess. More opportunities. And then now you're seeing it in college. You got a guy that's, develop them. Now they're a junior, senior. Now they go into a Florida. Now they go into one of these schools after these smaller schools have built these guys up.
Right.
And that's what Derek was saying. Now you're not going to see as many upsets because those guys ain't staying on them.
You're not staying in schools anymore.
Now you're going from a Wichita State to a, big contending school. Yep. And that might be the missing piece. So, it's all that culture from when they're young now with the AAU stuff, and there's no loyalty. I guess you could say that in the world too. There's no more loyalty.
But don't you feel like these are young kids are getting a false expectation of how the real world works?
Oh,
it's like you're just taking away the education of preparing them for how the real world works. You just can't be like, all right, I'm going to a job and I'm going to this next job. I'm going to get this next job, like it's going to be available. And now you cannot even handle disappointment because now you don't have the control like you used to when you was a kid.
Well, you don't have to work hard to get your starting spot.
Yeah,
now you're moving to another team, and that coach is promising you something, and you haven't earned it, right? And how many of those kids are actually going to move on and get that other opportunity, right? Like, there's kids that are promised all of this stuff. Then they get to a certain point when the promises dry out, they just lose love for the game. They just lose love. Like, back in the day, it was cool just to be on your high school team, be a part of something bigger than you, being part of the community, be a part, like, you played for the Whalers.
Yeah.
That source of pride right there. Like,
right there.
You played, Derek played at Volk. I'm sure walking around the school, like, hey, that's Derek. He plays on the team. And like, there was pride. Now it's like, we're missing a lot of that.
It would go back to LeBron. Like, if I was LeBron, I'm not LeBron, but if I was LeBron and I'm want to lead my son, I would have told my son to go to Duke. Right? You're already LeBron's son, going to a blue blood like Duke, which you're going to have good players around you, and you're going to get good coaching, and you're going to get the competition, even in practice, to become a better player. And you're going to be on national television. You're going to get the NIL money because you're LeBron James playing at Duke. Yeah. And even if you're there for 2 years, you're going to at least come out there ready. You know what I'm saying? But still be LeBron James' son that played at Duke.
But look at LeBron. Like, how loyal was he to his team?
True.
And some of it came out of the AAU. Yeah. They talked about when they were young.
Yeah.
Talking about playing together.
Yeah.
So it was like that's what came from when they was young.
Yeah.
So it's like, that loyalty is gone. You bounce around, you do what's best for you and whatever. I mean,
all business.
It is all a business.
They talk at All-Star games, whatever. Yo, in a couple of years, our contracts are up. They're like planning it. Where before, like in sound old or whatever, but like in the 80s, 90s, whatever. These guys were so loyal to their teams. They were Celtics, forever. Whatever. So a little different.
Yeah, they would never want to play. Like, Larry would never want to play with Magic.
Right? No,
right.
Because he's like, yo, I'm going against him. He makes me better, actually.
Right.
Against each other.
The rivalry.
Yeah, I'm watching that Celtics series on HBO. I think it's HBO. Yeah, HBO. They're going through the generation of Celtics, and right now they're getting into the rivalry between them and the Lakers. Like, even the but the games against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yo. It was crazy, yo. Oh man, Daryl Dawkins and all Dr.
Andrew
J
Tony,
and Tony.
Maurice Cheeks.
Every team was like there was less teams, so every
Yeah.
team was stacked
That-
with guys. The
yeah.
Nuggets were nasty.
Yeah, they were.
Bucks
Fat
nasty.
Lever. Yeah.
Washington was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many great teams, man. Yeah.
Moses Malone. That Philadelphia team won the title in '83. Cunningham.
I
coming
forgot
off
Moses
the bench.
Malone played for Houston when they went to the finals. Did Moses Malone play for Houston? Yeah, when they went to the finals against the
At the end, towards the end of his career.
Yeah, I think he did play for
yeah.
Houston. I think he did play for
At the
Houston.
end of his career.
at the end of his career. Yeah, he played for Houston. They went to the finals against the Celtics. That was
In
the team to beat
86.
the Lakers.
Oh, that was the
86.
The Sampson and
No,
no.
I think in '86 he played against the Celtics. Moses Malone for the Houston Rockets, right?
yeah, in '86.
But
Yeah.
I think he was with.
He was there when he won it, when Sixers won it. too.
Yeah, in '83, I think.
Yeah.
And he got traded. you know.
Yeah, then he got traded. He went to Houston, and they made the finals against. They got swept, so you probably don't remember them because they got swept by the '86 Celtics. But he was the center.
No,
on
did they
that
get?
team.
I'm not sure they got swept, but it might have been 6 games.
Maybe because they were talking about how Moses said that team is not even that good. You know, it's like we could beat them.
Yeah.
And they destroyed them. But Moses, like just those players, like then you go to the Ralph Sampsons and Olajuwon. That's who it was.
That's what I was saying,
Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, and they went to the finals then too.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there was a lot that came from that Stephen A. LeBron thing, and I just think that then LeBron goes on a different show on ESPN, and he just keeps it going, man. And then you expect Stephen A. to say anything?
Yeah, you just at some point you got to let it go.
You just let it go.
You had your thing.
Yeah.
You got it off your chest, man. Now you got to walk away at some point.
I think that ruins LeBron's legacy because that's something know what Mike would do? He'll just go there and just drop 50, man.
Yeah. I think you're right.
That's what
hurt his legacy.
It does, yo. It does. It's
the
like
bitchiness, the whininess.
Yeah.
The whininess,
100%. Yeah.
That's for me. Like that's everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And again, the bouncing around thing. Like, nah, you one team. Like,
yeah.
you make that team great. You win and
Yeah.
win and win, and then
He's a coach
Right on.
killer, and
Yeah.
it just he just.
General manager.
If you look at LeBron, like I don't know, maybe I'm just because I'm not a big LeBron guy. When you watch him play, he's the kind of person he's always looking at who's looking at him. Watch his eyes.
it's all
He just-
show. It's all
He
show.
just like, did you see that good shot?
he's one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm not
He
gonna
is.
take that away from him.
Yeah.
He is. He definitely is.
I always argue with people. I say he's not even in my top 10 greatest player. He's one of the greatest athletes ever.
Yo, why don't you call Walter Jones and ask him?
I would like to have
listening. He's mad.
Yo, Walter Jones is
Walter's
like
about-
he hates on Jordan. I'm like, how you hate on Jordan, Walt? I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah, my thing, like I would say this, like about anybody, like if you gotta dim someone else's light to make
Yeah.
yourself better, like yo, I'm not taking away from LeBron by saying Jordan's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally different argument, and
Yeah.
LeBron's one of the greatest players. You don't have to prop him up by dissing Jordan. Like
No.
there's just no need
Yeah.
for that.
No.
You know, like he should stand on his own. Like,
But
I
the
mean,
fact that this is Jordan, you know, that's Jordan's the
Yeah.
GOAT.
I mean, the argument is Michael and Kobe.
Yeah.
The argument's not even
Yeah.
LeBron, in my opinion. And
my opinion, yeah.
when you talk about when I say the argument, Jordan's head and shoulders above. So that it's you want to argue second and third place, go ahead. Jordan
Yeah.
to me is way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like for me, like 2 to 10 is like jumbled, and it could be any
Yeah.
order. Like, yo, I loved Larry Bird. Again, I love
Yeah.
watching him play. And again, it's just the ball movement, the IQ, and all of that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just a great player. I love David Robinson. Rodman was like my favorite. Like that was my guy.
Yeah.
Was he top 10?
No.
No, but he was just a great. Like what he did,
Yeah.
rebounding, defender. Like
How many years that Magic play? I think he played 11 years.
he took a couple years off too, right? With the
Well, HIV
Nah,
and
he never,
92.
he never
That
officially came back. He came back for like a few games when he came back from the
like
age.
13 years.
13,
Google it right now.
He came in 79
79, 80. Yeah.
and he was 92. He had AIDS.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
13 years.
13 years.
12, 13 years.
So
And that's when he stopped playing after he announced it, right?
yeah.
yeah, because he got A's after the 91 finals.
Yeah.
So he didn't play that 92.
So maybe 12 years.
Because the 92 season was he didn't play the 92 season, but he played on the Dream Team. So he-
All-Star game.
Yeah, so he played 11, 12 years. but he went to 9 finals and it was 11 trophies.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 9 finals.
and he changed the game. Like,
He
those
did,
dudes
yeah.
changed the game. Like, it was just a totally different.
You enjoyed watching basketball back then. You would sit there on a Sunday or Saturday, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and just watch all the games.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
It made you go outside and want to go play.
Yeah.
Right after the game,
Right after the game.
copied what they were doing.
Let's get into it. Pick another topic we got on there. We got a few. We got like 15 more minutes. Ooh, Signal Gate. We're gonna get back to little Signal Gate. So, if anybody doesn't know about Signal Gate, it's the leaders of our intelligence. How can I say leaders? Intelligent leaders. They were on an app, something similar to, I want to say WhatsApp, but supposedly maybe more secure or whatever. But it's a consumer app that they were discussing plans of an attack on someone that was an enemy to our country, and they were discussing the details of the plan. But this is on an app that probably anyone can literally go on and find and really find out what these plans are. So happened a mistake was made that in this group chat, they put in a journalist in the group chat, where the journalist was literally sitting there watching this conversation go on between the vice president, the defense secretary, all these people that were involved in this decision to attack somebody and talk about in detail. And it's a big controversy. What do we think about that?
I mean, mistakes happen.
Oh, that's your.
Well, what do you what do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to say? I mean, are there not like safeguards with their phones or computer? I don't know. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, they regret it. I don't know. You know, I mean, what do you want me to say?
Oh, they've made excuses like, well, this app was on the phones that the Biden administration already had on, or it wasn't classified. Yeah. It wasn't classified information, or it's all kinds of things, excuses of saying it was a mistake.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. They were using emojis and everything.
I
gotta play this video. Hold on, go ahead.
I didn't see it. I saw.
I gotta find this
thing when it was like 3 girlfriends talking.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious,
like,
yo.
Yo, that was funny.
I gotta find this. Like, it's hilarious. Like, hold on. What? So, so you had congressmen. They were mocking them to make their point, right? So, listen what here we go. Listen.
Rather than giving like a really big, long speech, I feel like I could just use this, and this will tell you that I think it's good, right? So like that's a fist, American flag, fire. So I'll just, from now on, when we do things where like we agree, I'll just hold this up rather than giving like a really big, long speech. So job well done, guys.
Would the gentleman yield?
Oh, sure, I'll yield.
But I'm not sure everybody recognizes the reference there. Would you explain where that comes from?
Yeah, so this is how when we're in like a chat with friends, right? Where we're like having a casual chat about like where we're dropping missiles.
Are you talking about a public chat room?
Yeah. But like, and with friends, and we're just like, you know, hamming about who we're gonna bomb and all of that. But we agree. We fist American flag fire. So I'm holding this up. I think we could just keep the committee shorter if like when we agree, we just hold this up.
No, I think you're supposed to have the flexed arm instead of the fist.
No, it was just it was just the fist. What signal chat are you in?
But
I was on Twitter.
If the gentleman would yield for an additional question,
Sure.
But what happens if there are reporters who might be there for that?
Well, hopefully they support America and that it's fire. Other than giving like a.
So was that like a nightlife guy?
Huh?
Who was that? Who was saying that?
No, it was people in Congress.
Oh, Congress.
They're being. I said that to me. Yeah, they were trying to be funny to make their point, where it was like. This is what I mean. Like it's it shows some incompetence. Understand, our defense secretary used to be a Fox News analyst on the weekend. That's who our defense secretary used to be. Like you have like the person second in charge as a podcast host. Like you have,
what's wrong with podcast hosts? Okay,
I don't want to be the second in charge of the FBI. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a real position that you got to take seriously.
We talk about LeBron and his son. Everyone's getting hooked up nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? That nepotism, that's the new DEI. Nepotism, that's
we didn't talk about DEI today.
Oh man.
Let me go with that one.
Oh no. It's okay to have that nepotism, but the DEI, you can't I don't want that's another topic we don't have time for. But having the nepotism is okay. You have Jim McMahon's mother or Jim wife, yeah, as the Secretary of Education. Is like, are these the right people that's in these positions? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, how do you make a mistake? They even try to dog out the reporter. Like, why would the reporter report this? Really? Like, why wouldn't he? Were you supposed to hide your incompetence? Like,
as someone that works in government and stuff, and someone that's made mistakes, just the lack of accountability for folks. Like, hey, we messed up. Like, we need to secure things. Let's look at what the protocols are, and let's go back and review, and let's move. Like, if we're gonna move forward, let's move forward. You know what I mean? This person was doing this, that person, like, it's always like that. And again, that's both sides, and it's kind of, no one's taking accountability for anything anymore. Like, it's,
But that's they're taking cues from the leader, because he don't take no accountabilities of anything. It just shows. My thing is, what else have they talked about on this app? It ain't the first time they used it. There's probably other things. It just so happened they made a mistake of putting a reporter on there. Like, why are we using this app to communicate plans of the attack on our enemies? There was one person who was literally in Moscow, in the Kremlin, having this conversation. Technology can be intercepted. You don't understand. It's like, come on. Like, there's got to be some type of protocol. You're putting our military people in harm's way. These are the people are making these decisions, and you're messing with American lives. In my sort of, maybe not this time.
It's just a bad look.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, so I think it's a bad look. I mean, I know you love to go after Trump and
no, because
administration,
but these are the same people who went after Hillary when she used her personal email. All right, so let's have the same energy.
They're not the same people on the email, on the whatever you just showed.
No,
those aren't the same people. If you're talking about Trump being the same person,
like all these people that were on this chat are the same people that were criticizing Hillary about her email.
Yeah.
So it's funny how now you're in that chair. It's all different now. But you want Hillary to be accountable, but you can't even be accountable. Luckily, nobody died, but this.
Right. So I mean, I'm in agreement with you, and you said the same thing. It's both sides.
Yeah.
Like when the Biden administration left $20 billion of military left behind so that people can use it to fight us. That's not cool. So on both sides, you're gonna always have arguments. Like, whatever side you're on, they're gonna come up and say, "Oh, this XYZ, and look at this, and look at these guys, and they can't handle it. They pulled out of there the wrong way." Like, there's always gonna be that. I wish we could just move on. When listen, who I voted for, right? I'm not happy with some things. Something like the firing of whatever you said. They fired people, then had to hire them back. Whatever, things are gonna get messed up, right? I'm not making an excuse, but I'm saying I'm not happy. Everything is not perfect. Everything wasn't perfect for the last 4 years. Everything's not gonna be perfect now. We just try to do the best we can and move on.
But what? And I hear you on that, but we can't just let it bypass, because how many times they were saying Hillary, lock her up. Every little thing was scrutinized, and these are the same people who are scrutinizing them. All right, so you feel like you do a better job. You're not even a year in, y'all months in, you're making mistakes like this. You supposed to all know better. You were so quick to criticize.
Well, I mean,
so now I'm criticizing you on the same level that you were criticizing people that were more seasoned than you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're firing 5-star generals who probably would never made this mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're seasoned. When you're having a Fox host being your Secretary of Defense, it's a problem for me. That don't make sense. That don't make sense to me.
Yeah, like I said, things happen, man.
A
like,
Fox host.
Yeah, things will happen, and
That's a bad. I didn't like that pick. I didn't like that pick.
Yeah, and
but you know, like even like with JD Vance. JD Vance is the vice president. He was a senator for a year and a half. All right, he's talking about we don't want to give money to Ukraine. He's in the Ukraine's president's face. But he was in Greenland saying, goes, yeah, we're going to make sure you guys, when you go to war, you have the best guns in your hand. Isn't your job to make sure we don't go to war? So we want to give money so we don't put our American lives, go to war and risk American lives. You want to put guns in their hands. That's y'all amping them up when we go to war. So what are you telling us? Your job is to avoid war. You're supposed to be the diplomat.
There was no wars when Trump was president before, so I'm hoping that same thing happens this 4 years.
But he's over here talking about want to take over Greenland, take over Canada. Why Canada? You know, if you want to get a 51st state, let it be Puerto Rico. Well, already a territory, but you don't want Puerto Rico. You know, it already territory. So why not the 51st state should be Puerto Rico so they could get a little bit more benefits than what they already have for being just a territory? But you don't want Puerto Rico. You want a country that have universal health care. They're doing all right.
my only question is, and again, like I said before, when we talk about sports and stuff, like we can't do anything by ourselves as like a unique.
Yes,
we're making a lot more enemies that we didn't have, like Canada, Mexico. Like we rely on these folks. We rely on all these other countries to help us too. And I get it. America's the greatest country in the world. All this and that. We're not perfect, but we need help. Like they need our help too, right? We can't be just making enemies of all these folks. So, I mean, that's just one issue I have. And again, I don't really trust politicians at all.
Yeah.
But like, that's one of the things. And when people say, well, my life is so much better now, a couple months in, and I'm like, there's no like for us, my check is the same. Like
you're not going to see the difference until like probably end of next year. You're not
my
going to
electric
see
bill is still high,
time.
eggs are still whatever. Like to be honest, like local elections really is what impacts.
Yes, no question. No question.
This national stuff that we're all stuck on and everyone's like so polarized and stuff really doesn't trickle down our way that much, to be honest. I mean, now with cuts to a lot of funding and stuff, we're gonna stop feeling.
We haven't felt it yet. We haven't felt it yet.
And again, it might not affect us four in this room.
Yeah,
but it might affect someone that can't afford, to pay the gas bill, and now they're not getting the funding to pay and stuff like that. So, like for us and most Americans, we're not gonna feel it.
Yeah,
one way or the other, right? Like we're really not.
What the first state that passed a bill to eliminate the income tax, which is the poorest state, is Mississippi. Why do you think they did that? I have my reason is because they're not getting no more federal funds.
Yeah, I mean, and
so now you need to like eliminate the income tax to raise other taxes to fund whatever service they're providing that poor state as it is. You know what I'm saying? So when they say, oh, eliminate the income tax, you're the poorest state. You're not really saving that much money. You're saving that money to be able to spend it elsewhere.
Well, like you said, they're getting taxed in other ways. I mean, might not pay income tax, but you're getting taxed. Yes. Well, Florida's no, was it state tax? So there's some.
Yeah.
They're getting taxed.
So we're all paying tax. So they may have state tax, or the property taxes are going to go up. Something's going to go up, so they have to pay for that. For state services, now you're not getting federally funded. Same thing in Florida. What are they doing now? Because you pushed all these immigrants out, and you did this mass deportation. They're having problem with labor jobs. So what are they doing? They're going to change the policy for 14-year-olds to get literally work overnight. looking for children because they have they don't have enough workers to do what they need to do. Like, this is what I mean with the cuts. How you're not feeling it now, but you're gonna feel it in the future because you got to do it strategically and not just right across. You're gonna have to replace a lot of things that make this country work.
We just don't know how it's gonna affect us. Like you said,
yes,
we're only a couple months in, so we really don't know. And again, one way or the other, and depending on what side of the aisle you're on, you're gonna think a certain way. Like, oh, these changes are gonna help us in this way, but you're absolutely right. We're gonna end up paying in another way.
Yes,
right. Like, oh, well, we might have more money for this, but there you go. That's like you said, New Bedford. Like, we could cut the tax rate on homes and stuff like that, but then you're losing a lot of services. Right? And New Bedford has way more services than, let's say, Dartmouth does or Fairhaven because we're paying those higher tax rates. We have sewage, we have garbage, we have the Z, we have
police,
more. So it's like
that's
it's
what
a
I'm
catch
saying.
22. Like, nobody wants to pay more taxes, but
those
taxes come with all
services.
Dartmouth, you got to pay for trash bags, so there's no trash service. You're paying less for taxes.
Either way, you're gonna spend the money.
Either way, at some point.
Either way, and people don't understand that. Yeah, at the end of it, because everything costs money. So, all right, you think y'all eliminate waste? You're still gonna pay. Your check is not gonna change.
There's always gonna be waste, and a lot of times people are gonna find ways to take advantage.
Yes.
Again, I worked in finance for years, and like for a little while, it was like mortgage-backed securities was a big thing, right? They were giving all of those zero credit check, zero interest loans, and all that, and that crashed the real estate market. So all those funds crashed. Then it was like naked selling they were doing, Lehman Brothers and all of that. That was a loophole. Then they shut that down and that bubble burst. And then it was something else. And they're going to find ways to, you know what I mean? So people are going to take advantage no matter what.
That's why, you ever see that movie, The Big Short?
It based off of that,
but the housing crisis, how that happened, it's crazy.
Or
Too Big to Fail. Like, watch these movies.
Well, Too Big to Fail was like, the banks, like the automobile companies and all of that, like, they can't fail because the whole economy will crash. But Lehman Brothers, that was like they were shorting. So I could tell you, like, I'm going to sell you these shares for this price, right? Because I think that the price is going to go down. I'm going to buy it really low. I'm selling it too high. But I don't really have the shares. Right? I don't really own them yet. I'm just telling you I do. And people are doing like billions and trillions of dollars worth of trading and not having them. And when people came to cash that, well, I don't have the shares to give you. So that,
but I got your money.
Layoffs, all kind of stuff. That was crazy. The mortgage-backed stuff, which was fraud. But again, they find ways to take advantage of that. They find the loopholes. They know how to look. They're going to make their money. I mean, we were talking about how, what is it, Bitcoin or whatever comes down, they buy it at like 80 grand, let's say. None of us can afford it. Goes back up to 100 grand, 120, you've made 40 grand. So if you have money, you're gonna make up.
They said, like, somebody told me about a conspiracy where is Trump putting all these tariffs to make the stock go down for his rich friends to buy it. The only way to take away the tariffs, then they can make money.
I mean, I don't know the reasoning, but they're going to find ways to make money off. I mean, that's where, that's what's going to happen. People are going to find ways to make money off.
There's a book that I'm about to read where a guy says, if all the rich people pay their fair taxes that they owe, you can eliminate poverty.
Leave.
That's crazy. That's, if you really think about it, because really think about how much money is out there. Like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, the Celtics just got sold for $6.1 billion. One guy. Where's that money coming from? Why these athletes are getting paid more money? Where is that money coming from?
Millions. Honestly, like, what's really hurting is like middle class, us poor people. We're the ones that spend money. We spend money in the community. So, like, to build up a community, that's money. Like, people that have money, they ain't spending it here.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, so, I mean, to build up, we were talking about the city earlier and, being able to have incentives for our people to buy homes and make a little bit of money, like, because we're going to spend it here.
That's how it used to be back in the day, where you could have literally one, like the husband could have a job and the woman could stay home, and that's enough money to have the American dream. Now, both parents got to work just to live comfortably. That's not right. Because why? Because there's not as much money flowing through the system like it's supposed to. Because you got more millionaires and billionaires than you ever had. That means that's more money that's stopping. it's not circulating through the middle class like it should be.
And most Americans don't even have a savings account.
Yeah,
they don't have money. I mean, I know me and my wife, we talk about we go check to check, and we
Yeah.
both work.
Yeah,
we're
but
both full
right,
time.
and that's
the more you make, the more you spend, and
that's the two of you.
And that's
you know,
two of us.
You know, most people, a lot of people are single.
Yeah.
A lot of single family households.
I couldn't even imagine.
So
this without both the and I always think about what if something happened to me? How would my family maintain?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because things are expensive.
But then you have somebody who has $52 billion. That's not right, man. That's why, I really feel like if there's a minimum wage, there's got to be a maximum wage. Maybe the maximum wage is like $2 billion. All right, you can't have no more than $2 billion. One person have $52 billion.
You know what it is?
Come on, man.
Everyone dreams of being that person with all that money, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's like getting hit by lightning twice on the same day. We're much closer, and I say this all the time, to being homeless and having nothing and losing it all than we are ever to have that. But who's thinking about the bad things that are going to happen?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be that person that wins Powerball or, you know what I mean?
There's a reason why they call it the 1%. Because only the 1% is going to become a millionaire or billionaire. So if are you gonna say, all right, I'm gonna jump off this bridge? I got 1% chance of living, and 99% dying. You're gonna jump off that bridge? Like, come on, not everybody's gonna be a millionaire. So it's not fair with that 1% to have all that finances where we're trying to struggle just to have regular health care, a good education, or housing, or anything. That's not fair.
And we confuse having all that money with happiness.
It's not.
That's not necessarily happiness, man. Some of those are the most lonely people on the planet, the most angry, the most hateful. And, some of the happiest families I've ever been around lived in the projects.
Yeah.
And have great lives and great, parents and childhoods. And I mean, we grew up poor. We had a great childhood. Like, we didn't have cable. We didn't have any of them things, right? And
I think
someone asked me the other day, I did a podcast with my father-in-law. If you had one wish, and I'm like, damn. I have everything. I'm blessed. What more could someone wish for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people think that money is going to be that thing.
More money, more problems, man. Yeah. More money, more problems. It's true. But do I want to be a multimillionaire? No, I just want to live nice. I live comfortable. I don't want to worry about money, but I don't want to be a multimillionaire. I like to be able to just have a comfortable living where I don't have to worry about if I go to the hospital, how I'm going to pay for it, or certain foods I'm going to get. I want to be able to go out and just enjoy a nice night out at a restaurant. I don't want some extravagant lifestyle and everything like that. You don't need all that, but people, they push this. You ever go on the internet and the people are saying, this person just bought this house for so $1 million. Who gives a fuck? But they push that in your mind like money is I don't know. I'm getting old because now it's people with money, everything's about money. Some people get in a different tax bracket and lose their morals, and that's messed up, man.
I think it's more of the idea of the money than the money and the stuff that comes with it. You know what I mean? Just that thought. I'm not gonna lie. I think about having all kind of money, but I always think about what good could I do with it?
Yeah.
What good could I do with it? I'd love to not have to tell my wife no. Oh, we need this or this, or let's go here. And I'm like, we don't really have it. I'd rather just, like you said, comfort.
Yeah.
And not have to say that.
Yeah, because you can do whatever you want. You don't want to be able to make enough money, all this money where, your community is hurting. No. But I want to live comfortable.
I want to be like Edmund. I want to go on
I want
vacation after vacation. You know what I mean? Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? World tour.
Yeah. You talk about going to DR and shit. I deserve it. Yeah, you do deserve it. You do deserve it, bro. But all right, let's we're gonna end it like that.
Is this the end? I gotta know. Is this the end?
Yes, this is the end of the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. This is our final thoughts. D, you want to leave the final thoughts first? What's your final thoughts?
Another great show. Always great to have Manny on.
You guys
and chat with you, so you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah,
always great to have Edmund back.
Yeah,
I will say,
yeah, man.
People were saying that we didn't have the comments going.
Yeah,
I think we had a little technical difficulty with that. So
yeah, we gotta fix that.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. If you commented, we didn't show it on the screen and chat with you, but we'll have that fixed for next week.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about you, man? What's the final thoughts?
Man, thank you guys, man. I always love coming on.
Yeah.
You know, filling in for Charlie. That's, you know, like I said.
Yeah, I want
to fill.
Yeah,
Charlie, we miss you, man.
Charlie. Yeah, I definitely want to have you on again. I love your perspective. You're not afraid to speak your opinion, and that's the great thing. And you're influential in the community. So have people like you on is inspiring. So I'll be calling you again to have you come on again. Definitely. I want to get your brother Maki on. He's stepping down.
He didn't even tell me. I found out on social media, which is crazy.
For real?
He said he couldn't bring.
We were just with him a couple of days before.
He said he couldn't bring himself to tell me.
Really? Wow.
Which, you know, we always talk about like taking a break from coaching and stepping down. The two of us, you know, we getting older. But he loves them kids.
Man.
Yeah. Just a lot with his job. And all of that. But he'll still be there for the kids. And he does a lot of great things, man. He's a great guy. So,
but he's gonna have some influence on who takes over.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. He had no idea. I threw a couple names. He's like, man, I really don't know.
You don't know?
Don't know. It's not what it used to be. Like we talked about that pride.
Yeah.
You played for the Whales, man. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I want to have him on because I want to talk about that. I want to he came from, you know, that era where the program was a lot of pride and everything like that. And now he was in that position where he's coaching. And like, what's the difference between us when we were kids and what you was coaching, what you had to deal with as a coach? I'm sure there's totally different things that what we were dealing with. But like, I want to have him on. I want to have him on soon. I I had you ask him when he could come on. I would love, I don't know if I will be able to do this, have him and Wally on Votech both on together. that would be an interesting conversation because they both deal with this whole city of our kids, you know. So, and the fact that we're all around the same age and come from the same environment, and now you're in positions of influence in the city, I think that'll be a great conversation on this show. So, you know, we'll see if they can make that happen, and I don't know, but I definitely want to have Maki on. There's a lot of future guests we're gonna have on. We're gonna have Councilman Brian Gomes that he's coming on. Rob Mendes next week, and then future we're gonna have Rob Mendes and Dave Kahn on, and there's some great guys, influential people that just influence a lot of people in this community that we need to give their flowers to. And I like to give their opinion on the basketball and all that stuff. That'll be a great conversation, you know. And you know, I really get into like, all right, like who are the best athletes in this city and who's the best basketball player, and you know, because you know their word is bond because they seen it all. And so I look forward to that. And, you know, they told Child that they're interested in coming on and having these conversations. So, you know, this show is all about having guests like that and having these difficult conversations and learn. So I want to thank all our listeners and all our watchers. We'll be back next week. I'm assuming with Brian Gomes, we're gonna have a discussion with him, and again we'll have Maki, Rob Mendes, and Dave in the future. I actually talked to Marcus Wills too. That I got to get back to him. I talked to him weeks ago about coming on, and he was open to come on too. So we got some good guests coming on. So thank you, Manny, coming on. We'll definitely have you on again, my man. Appreciate you, brother. All right, so we're gonna end it here. Have a good night. Have a good week, and we'll see you again here Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.